Cain Velasquez has been sentenced to 5 years behind bars. But is the sentence really fair?
To see what he is going through, yeah, kills me.
Considering the fact that his crime was a desperate act of rage when the justice system failed to protect his loved ones, many think his punishment's too harsh.
My only wish is that he did it with his hands. My only wish is that he just ran that car off the road, pulled that guy out of the car, and beat him to death. You.
In 2022, Velasquez took matters into his own hands, chasing down and firing at a man he believed had molested his child.
She's 4. She's a tiny little, cute little, adorable girl.
It's just...
And what does that do to her head to have that happen 100 times? How do you can't erase those?
But in the heat of the moment, he struck the wrong person and badly wounded him.
That guy deserves everything what Cain did. Well, Cain actually got his father, didn't he?
Yeah,
not the actual
unfortunately.
guy himself. Yeah, so
Despite having no prior criminal record, Velasquez has now been sentenced to half a decade in prison, and the MMA world is in an uproar.
He's been sentenced.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, Cain got sentenced.
Uh-oh, I don't like the tone of your voice.
Go on.
It says he's been sentenced to 5 years in prison.
But it's not as bad as you believe it is, and I'll explain why. First thing first, Velasquez won't serve the full 5-year sentence since he's credited with 1,283 days for time already served, including his previous jail time and house arrest.
The 2022 incident, as well as nearly 2 years on house arrest with an ankle monitor.
This means he'll likely spend less than 2 years in prison.
Initially, when we heard about the 5 years, oh my God, 5 years is a nightmare. And any day behind bars, for a good man like Cain Velasquez, is a nightmare.
Considering that prosecutors were pushing for a 30-year-to-life sentence, this outcome almost feels like a relief.
Prosecutors sought a sentence of 30 years to life for Velasquez, while the defense hoped to attain time served and probation.
However, many still see the sentence as too harsh, arguing that Cain simply acted as any father would to protect his child.
Certainly, as a father myself, couldn't even imagine what he was going through and what the family's gone through. What I would just hope is that justice is served in the case of the man who has been accused of basically, what has been said by many people online.
The man Velasquez was targeting, Harry Goularte, was accused of molesting his child but was granted bail and allowed to walk free.
The things that led up to this point, I want people to understand. They reported this person, he was arrested.
Meanwhile, Velasquez, a father acting out of raw emotion, was denied bail for months before finally receiving his sentencing.
Represents, to me, I saw some people doing the whole you can't take, you got kids?
The contrast is jarring. To many, this case isn't just about Velasquez. It's about a justice system that seems to protect the accused while punishing those who seek retribution.
I'm not happy with the judgment because he didn't deserve any more time. Obviously, what he did was not right, and it was reckless, and he endangered people's lives, and I agree with that. But also, too, there was a brain scan that was done of him, of himself. I'm sorry, when he was in custody, they did a brain scan of him. They came and did a whole bunch of us also, and they found that Cain had zero impulsivity and able to control his emotions under stress like that. So
the public reaction's been overwhelming. Hashtags like Free Cain have flooded social media, with countless supporters, including high-profile figures like Khabib Nurmagomedov and Joe Rogan, voicing their frustration.
Of course, humans gonna protect their family. They talk about law, court. They hold them in jail. I don't understand these things. It's always have to be fair. This is not fair. He sit in jail, and other guy he's outside. What about other guy? Okay, put this guy jail too. He's more dangerous for people than Cain Velasquez.
Many argue that while Velasquez technically broke the law, his actions were driven by the same emotions any parent would feel if they believed their child been harmed.
To be honest with you, because I will be able to think it clearly, I would have done worse. Because I would have been in my clear mind. I would have made that guy look at my face when I did it to him. I would have done worse. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you, I would have done the same thing as he did. No. I would have thought it out properly. I would have done it, and I would have found a way where no one can figure out it was me. But I would have done it. I would have done it.
The legal system's response, or lack thereof, to Goularte only fuels the anger. How can a man accused of such a heinous crime be allowed to roam free while a father seeking justice is locked away? Velasquez's case isn't just about legal definitions. It's about human nature. A father's instinct is to protect, and when the law fails to do so, that instinct can take over. That is why the fact that Velasquez was denied bail while Goularte was granted his freedom raises uncomfortable questions about how the system determines who deserves leniency and who does not. Beyond the MMA community, legal experts and social commentators have weighed in on the case.
Situation where your child, I mean, who wouldn't want to do that? Who wouldn't want to just absolutely destroy the person who molested your child? Problem is, when you do that, you take yourself away from the child and you hurt the child just as.
Some argue that while Velasquez's actions were illegal, they were understandable given the circumstances. Others believe that personal revenge cannot replace due process, no matter how broken the system appears to be.
Revenge is not a defense, and that's what that is. You're not protecting anybody. You know, I had a client who was raped by a guy, and then a week later, she went and stabbed the shit out of him. You can't do that.
The debate has extended beyond sports media, making its way into mainstream discussions about justice, accountability, and the ethics of vigilantism. But while Kane's intentions may have been clear, the law does not operate on emotions alone. They contend that taking justice into one's own hands, even in cases of profound moral outrage, can lead to chaos and further harm. In the eyes of the law, Velasquez's actions were not justified, and his sentencing perhaps doesn't reflect that stance, which is a good thing.
He was sentenced to 5 years in prison for attempted murder. Now, 5 years for an attempted murder charge is pretty light, honestly.
Sure, Velasquez's sentence is light, and he'll be out within a year or so, but still, the inconsistency in how the justice system handled the two men involved remains a major point of contention.
It's unfortunate, Kamaru, because, you know, obviously, us as parents, bro, we would do anything for our kids. You know, we would do absolutely anything, man. And I think when people put their money where their mouth is, like, that's Cain Velasquez, man. I've known that dude since I was 15 years old, bro. And the dude, that especially being Mexican descent, bro, like Mexicans.
Many argue that Goularte, accused of a far worse crime, should not have been granted bail so easily, especially considering the nature of the allegations against him. The glaring disparity has fueled public outrage and left many questioning whether the legal system truly prioritizes the safety of victims over procedural technicalities. That being said, Velasquez now faces his toughest battle yet, a battle not inside the octagon, but within the confines of the legal system. His supporters continue to rally behind him, petitioning for reduced sentencing or alternative forms of justice. Some believe that his case could set a precedent for how courts handle similar cases in the future. The emotional weight of this case is undeniable. Velasquez's story has resonated with parents, fighters, and everyday people who see in him a man pushed beyond his breaking point. His name has become a symbol of frustration with a system that often seems to favor the rights of the accused over the rights of the victims and their families. Some UFC fighters have even gone as far as suggesting that Velasquez's actions, while unlawful, were the only form of justice he could hope for in a system that continually fails to protect the innocent. Others remain more cautious, acknowledging the tragedy of the situation, but warning against justifying vigilante actions outright. The bottom line is, the man who once dominated the UFC's heavyweight division, feared by the best fighters in the world, is now confined to a cell, fighting a different kind of battle. His family, friends, and fans continue to wait and hope that his case might receive reconsideration. But whether or not the justice system will respond to public pressure remains to be seen. The good thing is, it could have been worse, and it fortunately isn't.
Home run. 5 years for attempted murder in public is cupcake time. A total win on all fronts for Cain Velasquez and his defense.
What happens next? Will Cain Velasquez serve his full sentence, or will his case inspire changes in the legal system? Could public outcry lead to a reassessment of the way the courts handle cases involving acts of vigilante justice? For now, Cain Velasquez faces a future behind bars, but this case will not be forgotten. It stands as a reminder of a flawed system, one that sometimes punishes those who seek justice more harshly than those accused of unspeakable crimes. The fight for Velasquez's freedom isn't over, and his supporters will continue to demand answers. Whether the system will listen remains to be seen. What do you think about Cain Velasquez's case? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications. Thanks for watching.